Thank you, Simon. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us here today. I'm Mahir, and I'm thrilled to introduce a revolutionary solution, TravelMate, the ultimate travel companion app. Before we dive into the exciting details, let me first introduce the talented team that brought this innovation to life. We have Joe, who alongside me played a vital role in shaping the front end, Sabrina and Marcel, our skilled backend developers and testers, and Josh, our versatile full-stack developer. Now, in today's digital era, our memories are scattered across countless devices and platforms. The moments we capture during our travels are often trapped in a digital maze, making it tough to relive and cherish them. But here's where it gets even more frustrating. Have you ever tried planning a group holiday? Crafting an itinerary that caters to everyone's preferences, interests, and needs can feel like solving a complex puzzle. The process often leaves us feeling overwhelmed as we attempt to create an itinerary that ensures everyone has a remarkable and memorable travel experience. So let's dive into how TravelMate tackle these challenges. Picture a platform where you effortlessly create and share albums with your travel memories. Invite fellow travelers to contribute using a simple share code. In essence, everyone adds to the journey story, maintaining a central hub of memories. Furthermore, gone are the days of burdensome travel planning. With our app, you can effortlessly generate personalized itineraries tailored to the unique preferences and interests of your group members. We use AI technology to craft itineraries that resonate with everyone in your travel group, saving you the time and eliminating the stress of planning. What's more, our app also provides an AI-generated list of food places, offering dining options that match your taste and are conveniently located. And to make your travel preparations even more streamlined, we offer a user-friendly packing list feature, helping you stay organized and ensuring that no essential item is forgotten. Essentially, we envision a future where your travel experiences are seamlessly captured, collaboratively shared, and expertly planned, all within the palm of your hand. Now, please welcome Joe, who will guide you through a demonstration of the incredible features of TravelMate.
Thanks, Mahir. So welcome to TravelMate. Who's ready to plan their next trip? I'd like to introduce you to Monya. She's somewhat of a jet setter. She loves organising trips. However, she finds that going with groups can be a bit stressful. Everyone has such varied preferences and requirements, it can be hard to come up with an itinerary that caters for everyone. However, since joining TravelMate, she's been on numerous holidays with friends, notably a trip to Tokyo with her work colleagues, which was a roaring success due to the app. They were able to use the AI itinerary maker to guide their trip, and as a result, documented some fantastic memories and photos from their trip. Next up in Monya's calendar, she's planning a trip to Amsterdam for her friend Sarah's birthday. Here, she can create a new group, which will generate an access code for her friends to join. Up top, Monya can also access a packing list, where she can add and check off items as she wishes. And next up, Sarah's going to sign in, where she'll join the group using the access code that Monya provided. And this is where we'll see the beauty of the app come into play. On the profile page, you can answer a few questions about what you enjoy and what your preferences are, and the AI itinerary will take everything into account. That includes Sarah being gluten-free, Monya being vegan, Tom's love of the theatre, and Simon's love of football. Now we can start the itinerary. I'd like to add a few more bits of information, so I'll specify what day Sarah's birthday is on, and poor Simon's just broken his leg, so we need some accessible activities. I'll click Generate Itinerary, and hey presto, here's the plan, where you can add, edit or delete if required. Sarah's birthday is actually looking a little bit sparse. She'd like to add the Heineken Museum, but perhaps also another activity too, so we'll also use the AI suggestion tool there. And if we scroll down and click Save, now the whole group can access the itinerary. Finally, the big day's here, and we all want to go somewhere for a birthday meal. So we'll use the AI Food Finder. You can either retrieve current location or enter your address. Sarah's feeling fancy and would like a rooftop view, so we'll hit Find Me Food, scroll down, and Matahari sounds perfect. Thanks for watching the demo, and over to Sabrina for planning and delivery.
Thanks, Joe. Our journey began with some solid planning. We brainstormed a range of ideas. To bring these ideas to life visually, we created wireframes covering all components of the app. We aimed for a consistent look across the pages, as we saw in the demo. Some of the pages in our final app differed from their original look as our design evolved during the project. For the back end, we created an entity relationship diagram so that we could have a better understanding how all the tables and information would link together. Throughout the whole process, we stuck to an agile approach using a Kanban board to stay on top of tasks and keep an eye on what was coming up next, and also to help each other out if someone was stuck in a task for too long. Now let's talk tech. To make the app look sleek, we use CSS, Bootstrap, and Tailwind. And to create the backend, Python and Flask were used. Now I'm going to pass on to Josh to talk about some of the significant code.
Thanks, Sabrina. So now I'm going to talk about some of the significant code for this project, mainly looking at the AI itinerary feature. So firstly, we needed to decide what factors to consider when prompting ChatGPT. And we decided to allow users to put information about themselves on their profile, which we could use to generate the itinerary, along with the form data, which has things like dates, destination, and budget, so that when the itinerary is created, it takes into account all of those things together for all of the group members. So as you can see in the code snippet, when you click on the Generate Itinerary button, it grabs all of the group's preferences from our backend API, and we extract the information such as favorite foods, hobbies, and other preferences. And then we get the travel details from the form data. And what we can do with these variables is then inject them into the prompt. So the prompt had to be very specific. It took a lot of trial and error to get the responses we wanted and in the correct format. So what seemed to help with this was to provide an example response within the prompt, and also tweaking some settings with the API call, such as temperature, which is a setting that allows you to adjust the randomness of responses. So once the prompt was finalized, it was just a case of grabbing the response data and setting the itinerary states that we could render it on the page. So moving on to the next code snippet. This shows how a new activity is generated on the itinerary if you decide you want a different idea for one of the days. Again, it's a similar prompt, but this time we feed the current itinerary state so they can produce an activity that's completely unique to anything that's already been suggested, which we can then use to update the activities for the day. For testing, we managed to get 77% coverage on the front end and 83% on the back end. We did face a few challenges when testing, so now I'm going to pass on to Marcel, who's going to talk about the challenges we faced.
Thank you, Josh. When it came to backend testing, the main challenge included wrapping our heads around PyTest and Flask as a whole. We had all just learned about them, so we had to spend a lot of our time reading up the documentation and even had to restructure our backend to accommodate for the testing. For front end, it was a matter of correctly using mock statements, again, which was just looking at documentation mostly. Another major challenge was spending time playing around with the OpenAI. As Josh mentioned, it took a lot of trial and error to make sure the AI returned the correct information and in the format we needed it. He had a lot of conversations with ChatGPT. I don't think a single project can go by without a few frustrating styling issues. For us, this was because we used Bootstrap for most of our forms that you saw earlier, but we wanted to heavily change them. After some searching around, we came across a library called Tailwind, which let us have inline CSS and made things quite simple to manage. Some of the future features we'd love to add include allowing users to upload videos, have the AI suggest accommodation if needed, and potentially allow the user to rate the itinerary provided, and it would allow us to train the AI with this feedback. Finally, allowing the users to make their albums public if they wanted to, and maybe have a social media style like system included. We learned many things throughout this project. All the new libraries we had to use. For example, we all agreed at the start to use Flask for the backend so we can get a better understanding of it and just learn more things. The way we solved the CSS issues with Tailwind and even the mind-blowing creativity that OpenAI allowed us to do. On our first day, we started out strong and threw together our proposal quite quickly. But later on, when we were speaking with our trainers, the idea got rejected. This was quite the shock, but it was a really good experience to see how fast we bounced back. We brainstormed over the weekend and we recovered nicely on Monday. Overall, this project was such a great experience, and we'll all look back at these 2 weeks with a smile on our faces. That wraps up our presentation. Thank you for listening, and I'd like to open the floor for any questions.
Really great job, Travelmate. Thank you so much, everyone. What a comprehensive app, and brilliantly styled has come across in the chat. Again, lots and lots of positivity coming across. Couple of questions come out, and we will limit it to 2 just from a time perspective. But the first one that we've got here is, how do you prevent unauthorized users accessing other people's memory pages?
Yeah, I'll take that one. So as you saw, there's a share code involved with each album. And that share code, once you've entered it, you're now part of that album and you will be listed, your user ID would be listed in the members list in that album. And when you go to enter like an album, if you're not in that member list, then you won't access it and you'll just get 404.
Amazing. Thank you, Marcel. And I'm just going to pick up YF's question. If you wouldn't mind, team, if someone could get back to Tony in the chat about his epic question, that'd be absolutely fantastic. YF's question, for anyone that hasn't seen it, is there a limit on the destinations that you can pick? Can you put in any city in the world and get an itinerary?
I'm happy. Oh, go on, Josh.
Yeah, so basically it comes down to ChatGPT's capabilities. So obviously if you put in more well-known places, then it's better at coming up with ideas. But I think in the future, if we wanted to improve sort of the suggestions for less well-known areas, we could add that into our database.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Josh. And really well done, team. That was absolutely sensational.